story at all? I kind of remember somewhat of the piano story, but not the full extent of it. So, piano story. So, remember this distinctly, that she had like a stand-up piano, and her mom wanted to like send it to us, and my wife was like, it's not, it costs more money to ship than it is worth it. So I was playing basketball with a buddy of mine who, he's like one of these guys, he's basically Vandalay Industries, right? Importer, exporter. And I said, he's like, hey, I got a line in a Steinway. I know you've been looking for a piano. I'm like, I don't really want a Steinway. And I was like, look, there's this piano. And then reached out, he said, wholesale art team. We also would buy wholesale pianos. It's in Boston. I don't think it's going to make, what's the minimum amount? What's that called? There's a minimum amount. I don't think it's going to make that. But you should maybe put a bid in below that and see what the owner says. So it didn't go at auction. I didn't bid on a high enough amount to get the piano. So I called the owner who owned the shop on, I think it's Wilson Street, that's the famous street in Boston. They were older, they were retired, they were shut down their store. This piano went to lockdown. And he said, sir, the piano is worth $10,000. It's like, okay, listen, I understand what the book says, but at an auction, with your minimum bid being $3,000, nobody bids $3,000. He said, this is worth $10,000, and I said, respectfully, we've never met. I'm sure you're a very good businessman, so you know this to be true. You are worth what somebody will pay for. And piano is worth what somebody will pay for. I am offering you the ability to sell the piano to me, and to get it off your hands, and to get a little bit of cash in your pocket. Now, it may be worth far less than you want it to be worth, but that doesn't stop it from having some value. So I said, I'll give you $1,500 for the piano, and cost of shipping and tuning, whatever, is like $500, right? So I'll just send you $2,000. You get somebody to ship, and if you can make money on the shipping, whatever. He thought about it. A week later, he called me, and he said, okay, let's do it. So we still have the piano. Let's put a piano. That's basically what Jadeveon Clowney is going through. Mike Florio was on 106.7 The Fan. My understanding is that the Seahawks have been in the range of $15 million on a one-year deal for Jadeveon Clowney. The Seahawks have been led to believe the Browns offered $18 million, but he has yet to take that. I don't know what he wants with him. It comes down to getting a number that he's happy with. He believes that he's at the level of the best defensive ends, outside linebackers in the National Football League, and the league has spoken and said, not so much. Not so much. Okay? That's what happened. You're worth what somebody's willing to pay you. And Jadeveon Clowney said to me, hey, I'm a $20 million a year guy. Not if there's no $20 million offers. It was pretty obvious to all that when the Houston Texans didn't want to sign him to a long-term deal, Bill O'Brien, the league's not full of idiots. They all do their research. One of the reasons the Seahawks don't want to sign him to a long-term contract, even the Browns deal's not a long-term deal. He went down to the best guys in the money down and said, listen, the league told Bill O'Brien, let him walk away, gave him away. You think that others, and I don't know what happens. Most people, Jadeveon Clowney, what do you believe? You're a Seahawks fan. What do you believe his value is?
I like the $15 million price tag. You can't ignore the lack of sack numbers, and
did you say the lack of sack?
The lack of sack number, the sack totals. You can't ignore those, and while he's really good against the run, you're also now in a division that has added Kyler Murray, and I know he dominated the 49ers game, as we brought out, but yeah, to your point too about the market as well. I mean, I would have hoped that $15 million would have gotten it done, but it apparently didn't. So And the Seahawks are definitely wanting to do a short-term deal just because you never know with injury history. So, but yeah, I was surprised that considering the market that's out there, because it only seems that it's the Titans, Seahawks, and maybe that's about it, because it doesn't seem like he wants to go to Cleveland either. Anyway,
why does he want to go to Cleveland?
I don't know. I'm not sure. That Adam Schefter said that a couple of weeks ago that the Browns were the ones that offered him the most money, and if he wanted to be in Cleveland, he would have already been there. So, I'm not sure. Maybe. I don't know if it was above the $15 million. That I don't know if they're, if it's correlated if the Seahawks upped an offer or what, or if it was a multi-year deal in Cleveland, which I think obviously it would be. But yeah, Schefter saying a couple of weeks ago in one of the stations in Cleveland that if Clowney wanted to be a Brown, he would be a Brown. We know that he's not going to be a Viking, or Dalvin Cook is a Viking, but the running back now looking for a deal that could pay him $13 million a year, according to ESPN. It was revealed yesterday that Cook wants a new deal and will hold out to the final year of his rookie contract, gladly, end quote, take a deal that pays him $13 million per year. Falcons running back Todd Gurley officially passed his physical with his new team, while Saints safety Malcolm Jenkins told CBS this morning that the NFL will not have, quote, gotten it right, end quote, on social justice until they apologize to Colin Kaepernick or assign him to a team. A week after an internal memo was leaked from MSG chairman James Dolan saying his company isn't qualified to comment on social matters, MSG released a statement today saying, quote, every one of us has a role to play in creating a more just and equal society where there is no racism, bigotry, violence, or hate. We stand with all who act for positive change, end quote. The tweet was shared by the Knicks, Rangers, and other MSG entities. Finally, Daniel Cormier will fight Stipe Miocic for the third time for the fight scheduled now for August 15th. Doug, back to you.
Doug Gottlieb Show, Fox Sports Radio. True Hoops, an awesome website. Just incredible insight on the National Basketball Association. David Thorpe, longtime friend and a True Hoop NBA analyst, has worked with NBA players on their skill developments, former coach in his own right. David joins the Doug Gottlieb Show on Fox Sports Radio. I said on Friday that the plan for the bubble is like it's 2 months old, and it's for 2 months in the future. And I feel like, in addition to the fact that the rest of the world is opening up, so there may not be the need for the bubble, it's also going to hurt the quality of play because, and you've seen this, you know the league, the 2-week road trip, guys aren't nearly as good. Can you imagine being in a hotel for 3 months and playing ball? It feels like a dated plan that's not going to give us the best basketball.
Hey, yeah, I mean, you could go on for 20 minutes. My biggest concern with the bubble, I'm an old guy, so many years ago I read in a book called Jurassic Park, where scientists basically try to control nature, and of course it became famous movies and a franchise and everything else. And I understand what the NBA is doing, I understand what they're trying to do, because they're trying to control things as best they can, but the virus doesn't care, bubble or not. Unless that is absolutely impossible to permeate somehow, that's going to happen, right? And then what happens then? If someone says positive and I started thinking, well, if Utah delivered Michael Jordan a bad pizza, which I'm not sure they did, I could just see some terrible person trying to send this infected virus person delivering food. Like, how do you control it? I'm worried. I think your point about basketball is smart. I've got players here now. They were off for a month, 2 months. Like one player off for 2 months.
Antifa and Jack Brewer, Leo Terrell, Senator Tom Cotton, all coming up.
It's 3:30 at News Radio 810 and 103.1 WGY. I'm Diane Donato. Funeral for George Floyd is underway. Your top stories in 1 minute, but first, traffic and weather.
This report is sponsored by Bob Evans Dinner Signs. Overall, not a bad ride here on a Tuesday afternoon in and around the Capital District. Little volume on southbound 787 coming into exit 9. And northbound, don't forget the off-ramp to the Dunn Bridge is closed till June 12th. That is construction work. I-90 from East Greenbush over to Colony. That's a good ride. And up and down the Northway, we're in good shape. Route 9's in volume in Clifton Park near 146. From the WGY Price Chopper Market 32 Traffic Center, I'm Mike Barker. The Bob Evans Farms family of products wants to remind you to drive sensibly as you get behind the wheel a bit more now. Drive smart and drive safely to shop at your local grocery store. for Bob Evans mashed potatoes and mac and cheese.
WGY AccuWeather forecast: partly cloudy tonight, the low 62. Tomorrow, partly sunny, a shower or thunderstorm in spots late in the afternoon, the high temperature 91. Thursday, partly sunny, a shower or thunderstorm still possible, in the high 84. Sunny skies, 86 degrees at News Radio 810 and 103.1 WGY. Our top story: the funeral service for George Floyd is underway. This concludes days of memorial for the man whose death sparked protests around the world. Floyd will be buried next to his mother, the woman he cried out for in the viral video of his death. Governor Cuomo is thanking the New York State Legislature for making progress in police reform matters.
It is a great step forward because people see progress, people see action.
Yesterday, the legislature approved a measure that would ban the use of chokeholds by police. Other items on the agenda include a repeal of a portion of the state civil rights law called 50A, which prevents the public from having access to the disciplinary records of police officers. Also, any police killings of unarmed people would be reviewed by the state attorney general's office instead of a local district attorney. Governor Cuomo said that he will sign the reform measures once they clear the Senate and the Assembly. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is criticizing Democratic leaders for allowing mass protests while keeping places of worship closed. He says the inconsistency has been baffling because apparently, quote, protests are now permissible, but prayer is still too dangerous. Meanwhile, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy is lifting that state's stay-at-home order. The order has been in place since March 21st. He says residents should continue to be responsible, wear masks, and do social distancing. IBM is getting out of the facial recognition business. In a letter supporting a police reform bill introduced in Congress, CEO Arvind Krishna wrote that IBM opposes using any technology for mass surveillance, racial profiling, and violations of basic human rights. He says now is the time to begin a national dialogue on whether and how facial recognition technology should be used by domestic law enforcement agencies. WGY News Time is 3:34. Our next news update at 4. I'm Diane Donato. The Sean Hannity Show continues in less than 3 minutes on News Radio 810 and 103.1 WGY. The Capital Region's breaking news, traffic, and weather station.
Securities and investment advisory services offered from GWN Securities, member FINRA and SIPC. Northeast Wealth Management and GWN Securities are not affiliated.
Does the current stock market have you questioning whether your investments are positioned properly? Hi, this is Jason Lorenzo, Vice President of Northeast Wealth Management. Whether you're saving for retirement, a college education, or have changed employers and need guidance,
tend to be hesitant, but wait on things, lower extremities that are injured because they don't want to hurt again.
David Thorpe, our guest, a true hoop NBA analyst, Doug Gottlieb Show here on Fox Sports Radio. Who benefits the most from all of this time off as a team?
I'm actually, as we speak, I'm writing my piece for Friday for Truth.com, and I happen to think it benefits the team with the best players in the world as opposed to a collection of really good players. Like, for example, Boston is going to be very good, but not this year. They're very good. Tatum is going to be fantastic. He's not there yet. So they're not going to benefit as much as the guys, well, you know who the best players in the world are. I happen to think that if you had a gym all the time, like LeBron, like Damian, I don't know how many total guys have gyms. I can tell you this going forward. I think players are going to rent. If they're playing a place that they don't have a home, they'll just rent a home with the gym in preparation for this going forward. Because the guys that have had one all along are just going to be sharper, in my opinion. So the best players are going to fall less. You know, in football, teams are notorious for letting the grass grow if they think the home team is slower. I kind of think the same thing here, Doug. Never made sense to me that would work. But if everyone's a little bit worse because of what happened, I think it's even a bigger advantage to the world's best players. So the few guys, and you know who they are, LeBron, Anthony Davis, Giannis, those guys, I just think they have a bigger advantage because those teams require a little bit less protection and chemistry because they have more.
I'm wondering about the Clippers, right? They lack the chemistry, and now you get a second training camp for them. You get ramp-up games. More importantly, you get a fully healthy Kawhi Leonard, right? You would think.
Yeah.
You get a fully healthy Kawhi Leonard, you get a fully healthy Paul George. I don't know. I the Lakers were playing better than the Clippers before the break, but the big part of the Lakers, the question mark is, how do they come back? I agree with you on LeBron. I mean, LeBron should be fresh as a daisy. I do wonder how older guys, how much they wear down because they're away from home and because of how many games you're playing in such a short period of time. I feel like the Clippers really benefit from this.
I think what you said, and this is the one caveat to any prediction I have, is I don't know what the schedule looks like yet. I do have some concerns that if it's every other day, that's going to have an impact on the older players. I think LeBron is probably the most important one. He's such a freak. I can't put a ceiling on what he can do. I agree with you on the Clippers. My question on the Clippers is what you said before. I predicted the Lakers had the better team during the regular season. The Clippers to win the championship. That's what I predicted back in October. Because it takes the season to really congeal, and I don't know if the Clippers have had the time to do that. They certainly didn't have it in the season, although they were finishing very strong, except for a loss to the Lakers. I think they won 8 of the last 9. But now that's a reset button, and I just don't know if they're going to be able to manufacture that again. But certainly they're right up there talent-wise with the Lakers to beat anybody.
How legit is the championship won in quarantine?
It's going to be so strange. I mean, it's going to be an asterisk to some degree, but there's plenty that are. But I don't even remember anymore who won, a lockout championship in any sport. There's lockouts or strikes in every sport since I've been following sports. I'm 55 now. I don't remember which years they were. I don't pay attention to that stuff. I think in the short term, we'll remember it. And in the longer term, I mean, even now, I forgot that Klay Thompson didn't get hurt. So 2 minutes ago in the third quarter of Game 6, and they were up 5 last year. Like, Golden State, to me, was still going to win that series with all the injuries they had until that final injury. I forgot it was that late in the series. I think we'll forget a lot of it. We won't forget the pandemic. We won't forget no fans. I think the championship will be considered a championship, and that'll be that.
Yeah, I think so too. But again, we have to see how it plays out and who wins it. It does. Outside of Milwaukee, who's the team from the East? Because that's we're so focused on Lakers, Clippers, assuming they get there on a crash course. Who in the East is the most likely to challenge?
I've been saying for months now, even before the pandemic, that Toronto intrigued me the most. I love Brad Stevens. He actually was a guest on our show a few months ago, and I trust the Celtics organization, but I also trust the Raptors organization. And they've got depth. Marc Gasol is still a very special defensive player that's going to be fresh, and that's important. But he's not going to lose his ability to communicate, his understanding of angles, his understanding of the opposition. They're going to be a very good defensive team. And if anyone can beat Milwaukee, and it's going to be hard because Giannis is so incredible. But if Bledsoe and Middleton, with other classes, if they don't play great, they're beatable. And I think Toronto can do it. I wouldn't predict them to do it, but I do think they're the most dangerous team outside of Milwaukee in the East.
You go to truehoop.com. They have all the stuff you need. If you love the NBA, easy subscription, not a ton of money, and incredible insight from guys like David Thorpe. David, hope you guys are well. I'm sure we stole you away from the gym. Get back in the gym. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Pleasure is mine. David Thorpe joining us on the Doug Gottlieb Show. The best running back in the NFL right now? I'll tell you next.
This is the Doug Gottlieb Show on Fox Sports Radio. Oh, happy day. The NBA is looking to come back. Underway, I've got it. 22 teams. Everything is on the line. And when they hit the hardwood in Orlando, shoot for 3, got it! You'll be all over it. I love the NBA. We love the NBA on Fox Sports Radio.
You've heard us talking about hymns and how they're helping guys look their best. If you haven't yet, it's time to see what they're all about. 66% of men start losing their hair by the age of 35. And once you've noticed thinning hair, it can start to be too late. The best way to prevent more hair loss is to do something about it while you still have some. 4hims.com, the one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, sexual wellness for men. Hims is helping guys be the best of themselves. Products to help treat hair loss. Right now, my listeners can get started with their first month free. Go to 4hims.com/allball5. That's 4hims.com/allball5. Prescription requires an online consultation with a physician who will determine if prescription is appropriate. Offer valid only if prescribed. 3-month minimum subscription. Additional restrictions apply. See website for full details. and important safety information. Remember, that's 4ams.com/allball5.
You've been camping in your backyard, cycling in your living room. You've been enjoying rain showers in your bathroom, campfires on your TV screen. You've been counting stars and birds from your window and holding family cookouts in the kitchen. Now, get ready to go. Go on a real vacation. Take the wheel at your nearest RV dealer or at GoRV.com.
Here at AutoZone, we're all about helping you get what you need to keep life moving. Like for that next oil change. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Pennzoil Platinum full synthetic motor oil, an SCP extended life oil filter, and a Monster Energy drink, all for just $33.99. Something. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
For the ones we trust to always be there. For the ones caring for others. For the ones who keep things going, no matter where they are. In extraordinary times, extraordinary people step up, like the ones standing guard and standing on the front lines. And the ones who are staying apart while still working together. With your efforts, we will get through this. We're grateful for all you do. Visit Grainger.com for resources that can help as you create your recovery plan. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It was my 5th birthday, and my dad was bringing home the cake.
Should have been here a half hour ago.
The cake never made it, and neither did my dad. That was the day a drunk driver killed my dad. Impaired drivers take lives. Think.
Sponsored by the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee. Aired in cooperation with the New York State Broadcasters Association.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Cap and I knew that Jenny had been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org. A message from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids, where families find answers.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it. Charmin Ultra Strong, just please better. Enjoy the go with Charmin. Has this ever happened to you? I wasn't feeling great, so I searched my symptoms on I got duck great. So support to them.
Get your free credit scorecard today if you're not a Discover customer, and include your FICO credit score. Checking your scorecard will only your credit either. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply. Every day at this time, we have Let Dan Meyer have some fun, play a game.
This is game time. On the Doug Gottlieb Show.
Dan, what do you got?
Doug, the game today is
Rank 'em.
All right, Doug, rank your top 3 running backs in the National Football League. This on the heels of Dalvin Cook wanting a new contract in Minnesota.
Christian McCaffrey 1. Ezekiel Elliott 2. This is a tough call. I like him a lot, but he's only played 14 games, and this is a really hard one. Really hard one. Like, do I go Dalvin Cook? Do I not go Dalvin Cook? I think I'm gonna go Derrick Henry 3.
Interesting.
I mean, like, I understand he doesn't do what all those, he's not the dual threat that some of those guys are, but he's a monster. Also under consideration is, Nick Chubb and, Chris Carson before he got hurt was having a spectacular year. Dalvin Cook's great, he's a dual threat, he's in that conversation, but I'm going to go with Derrick Henry.
I'm surprised Saquon
Barkley in that too, yeah, sure.
Doug, rank the likeliest months that we will see real baseball again.
July. August. 2. September. 3.
Ooh, not even saying March or April as a point.
I definitely baseball this year. can't say that.
All right, Doug, rank what sports that miking up players is the best. What sports do you like to hear what's going on during the action?
Now, football is 1. Basketball is 2. Actually, baseball may be 1, right? There's so much time now. I think actually, you see it in spring training where guys are mic'd up and having an interview while the game's going on.
Well, yeah, I would also say the Aaron Boone Savages audio, I think, really, boosted Major League Baseball up for miking.
Yeah, let's go baseball 1. Football 2, basketball 3. Part of it is, somebody's got to know their mic, so it becomes so cheesy.
Yeah, and that's in golf. Obviously, we'll have some players' mics coming up this weekend at the Charles Schwab.
I like what CBS is doing, but they're acting like they're inventing the wheel. Here's what we're gonna do. Like we've already seen it golf match. So I get that you're gonna have dance alone, but we've kind of already seen it. Charles Barkley did it from his basement.
Yeah, I think that there's also too, like when we watch like an NFL films, you're wondering what is the interaction maybe between player and defender, offensive lineman, defensive lineman, or quarterback and defensive end. But there's also something of just hearing what's happening on the sidelines, and that is actually what I think is going to be interesting in golf, Doug, is not the conversation that, let's say, Rory McIlroy would have with Phil Mickelson. It's the conversation that the player has with their caddy in trying to determine what type of shot they want to hit. Like, that's the stuff that I think is actually really intriguing. And we'll, hopefully we'll see some of that coming up this weekend. Doug, rank your 3 favorite UFC fighters in history.
Okay. Randy Couture 1, Daniel Cormier 2. What's the guy's name? Why am I struggling with his name? He just won. He had a big upset, and I think UFC 249. And he was so.
Who is it?
Yes, Gaethje. What's his first name? Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje.
Mostly that pull from me, by the way.
That's very nice.
Definitely non-fight guy.
Mostly because, it wasn't just that he won, it's how he won. But 2, there was one who was mic'd up and talked to his corner guys. Corner guys like, remember how you got tapped out because you're taking too many big shots. Just win, dial it back. And he did. He was awesome.
Finally, Doug, rank your top 3 islands. We kind of hit on this yesterday. This on the heels of Fight Island as well.
Yes.
Your top?
Maui is my number 1 island. Amazing. Manhattan is my 2nd favorite island. And Crete is my 3rd island, although I've never been there.
John Ramos, your number 1 island?
Fantasy Island.
This is game time on the Doug Gottlieb Show.
Music, your favorite island?
I probably agree with you on Maui. It's a awesome place.
I gotta get to Maui. Matter of fact, let's look that up. I don't know if you guys know this. One of my I work with a big group and the agents, very close friend of mine. He lived in New York City. And so when all this went down, this is like now 3 months ago, he and another agent and a couple of agents met them there. They got on a plane, they flew to Maui nonstop, and they didn't have a place, and they got a VRBO, whatever, on the plane they rented, right, for like a month. And then they ended up staying up for 2 months. And there was like 5 agents and one of the guy's wives, and they all worked. They all get up at 5:30 in the morning, open up their laptops. It was like 8:30 Pacific Coast time, 11:30 East Coast time. They do some work, There's people, everybody, they go to Costco, bought a bunch of stuff, and then they do their work, and then go for like a walk in the middle of the day, come back, do some work. Somebody made food, somebody made coffee. There's stuff around. It's like, in like 2 to 4 in the afternoon, people do some sort of their own workouts. People walk, the people do like a workout, they run, they swim, whatever. They were like a block off the beach. And then like 4 o'clock, 4 drinks, and then you walk along the beach, and they'd all kind of try to stay away from other people so that it didn't get shut down. He was like, 2 months in now. I was like, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Mine's Mackinac Island, by the way. Just wanted to throw mine in there.
You know, there's an island in South Carolina, Kiowa Island. Kiowa. I have a buddy who has a house in Kiowa Island, and he's like, I was like, why don't you live there? He's like, my kid's got one of his son's going to college this year, and his daughter a couple years from now, I think. So he'll be living in Kiowa Island. He's a big golfer. That's pretty amazing. Lots of good islands.
Hilton Head in South Carolina, yeah, just out.
Hilton Head's an island? Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty big, but yeah.
Who's the guy who owns one of the islands in Hawaii? What's the, that's like the ultimate baller move.
Isn't it one of the owners of the Warriors?
Yeah.
I thought Tony Robbins had his own island, too. But I don't know if it's in Hawaii.
Yeah, Tony Robbins had it. Larry Ellison, right? Larry Ellison owns the island of Lanai, which used to be a huge pineapple factory, and now there's some resort, and can you imagine, and he bought it for $300 million. I own an island of Hawaii. That's crazy. Why Major League Baseball players aren't helping themselves? Next. How you spend your time and what you listen to is totally within your control. Your personal information, on the other hand, that's another story. Because when you shop, bank, or browse online, your personal information gets out there, and you can lose control, exposing you to cybercrime. But you can get back a sense of control over how to help protect yourself and your personal information. Thankfully, the Norton 360 with LifeLock is an all-in-one membership for your cyber safety with device security, identity theft protection, a VPN for online privacy, and more. Plus, if there's an identity theft problem, they have agents who will work to fix it. Now, no one can prevent all cybercrime and identity theft. The Norton 360 with LifeLock is a powerful ally to help protect you in today's connected world. Sign up today for a Norton 360 with LifeLock membership and save 25% or more off your first year by going to norton.com/Doug. Go to norton.com/Doug. That's norton.com/Doug.
This report is sponsored by Stress Balls De-Stressing Gummies.
We have a slow ride on the Collar City Bridge heading eastbound in Detroit this afternoon. Boosted Road, 787 the volume northbound transitioning onto the eastbound side of the Collar City Bridge. Alternate 7, a pretty good ride up and down the Northway. We're good. Thruway 990 checked out okay. From the WGY Price Chopper Market 32 Traffic Center, I'm Mike Barker.
Stressed out? Try Stress Balls De-Stressing Gummies. Eat a couple and you'll feel like... Keep taking Stress Balls gummies, and eventually your world feels like... Become a Stress Baller with Stress Balls Gummy Supplement.
Orangutans. They're beautiful, playful, and majestic, and disappearing. Every day, as many as 20 orangutans vanish. They starve to death when their homes are destroyed, or are killed when they stray into villages in search of food. International Animal Rescue is fighting for the survival of the critically endangered orangutan, but we can't do it without you. Please visit internationalanimalrescue.org. Help us save orangutans before it's too late. That's internationalanimalrescue.org. Have you heard of orangutan? At Nickel, getting toys repaired is as easy as
That renovation's 1 star. He kept asking me what's behind the walls down there. I'm like, why? What do you know?
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
And he's like, you can trust me with the job. And I'm all like,
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial auto and business insurance.
yeah, he charged me less than he said he would, which is lying.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company is regulated by Third-Party Insurers.
There's nothing like making a meal with every pot of pan you love. Savor every bite of this meal, chef, because for dessert, you'll be having
So many dishes.
Ditch the dishes and get Taco Bell's $5 Super Cravings Box instead. The
increases.
Have you ever felt so dizzy you could hardly stand up? You're not alone. Millions of people struggle with dizziness and experience the debilitating symptoms of vestibular dysfunction, such as vertigo. Vestibular disorders affect people of all ages and can impact ability to work, go to school, or just perform everyday tasks like shopping and getting dressed. Because these symptoms are invisible and difficult to describe, they're often overlooked by doctors and dismissed by family and friends. But there is hope. Visit vestibular.org or call 800-837-8428. If you or someone you know has experienced a persistent sense of dizziness or lack of balance, visit vestibular.org to search for a vestibular specialist in your area. The Vestibular Disorders Association can help you discover a life rebalanced. Visit vestibular.org, that's vestibular.org, or call 800-837-8428.
This is WOFX Troy, WGY FM HD2 Albany, W240 EC Albany, Fox Sports 980 and 95.9 FM. Fox Sports trending now.
Yesterday it was revealed that Vikings running back Dalvin Cook wanted a new deal as he's about to enter the final year. Says that Cook would likely be happy with the deal that would pay him $13 million annually. Running back Todd Gurley officially passed his physical with the Falcons, according to ESPN. Well, some safety Malcolm Jenkins told CBS this morning that the NFL will not have, quote, gotten it right, end quotes, on social justice until they apologize to Colin Kaepernick or assign him to an NFL team. Hawks general manager Travis White said the league is considering condensing next season to remain close to their current schedule format. In this scenario, teams could play more back-to-back games. There's been talk the league would like to end the season prior to the start of the Tokyo Games, which are scheduled to begin July 23rd in 2021.
This is the Doug Gottlieb Show. This is America's longest-running afternoon drive sports radio show. Broadcasting live from the studios of...
Temperatures finally worked its way up to the upper 80s, 88 degrees now at News Radio 810 and 103.1 WGY. Thousands of mourners gathered in Houston, Texas today for the funeral of George Floyd. Started at noon, it's still going on. Speaking at the service, Democratic Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee of Texas says Floyd changed the world.
It'll be up to us that his purpose and his assignment for the justice of this nation, for the fact that there will never be the brutality faced by a man that says, I can't breathe, and calls to a mama who loved him so.
Floyd will be laid to rest next to his mother at a cemetery in Pearland, Texas. Protests continue across the country. Floyd died while in Minneapolis police custody. In a massive Lives Matter on the pavement, science creation and the science creation being credited to the governor
Was staged?
State legislature for making progress in police reform matters. Well, despite the pandemic, the U.S. Census Bureau continues its efforts to make a complete count for the 2020 census. Those households received invitations by mail. However, a portion of the population needs to be reached more directly. Jack Taylor, director impacted by the operation of rural. New York's current overall census response rate is set at about 55%. Figures in the capital region put that response rate at about interpreted blue lawsuit. Working hard to educate students by giving winners. Goes on to say Reese Witherspoon and her company got free publicity that would not have been given had the giveaway specified only 250 people would win. We're seeking damages on behalf of the million teachers who entered. On Wall Street, just before the close, a mixed bag, but a big negative day for the Dow Jones Industrials. A few minutes before the close, the Dow off 307, S&P 500 down 26, but the NASDAQ is up 31. WGY News Time coming up to 4:06. Our next update at 4:30. I'm Jim Gagliardi. More Sean Hannity in a minute. On News Radio 810 and 103.1 WGY. Capital Region's breaking news, traffic, and weather station. Quick
Response Restoration's mobile disinfecting stations have gone on the road. First responders come see us in Schenectady, Glens Falls, Albany, Saratoga, and of course Clifton Park to have your vehicle disinfected at no charge. Check out the Quick Response Restoration website or Facebook page to find out our weekly schedules. This service has been extended to include our medical professionals. Quick Response will continue this no-charge service as long as it takes to keep our first responders safe.
The Albany Med Health System. No one knows this place we call home better than we do.
No one brings urgent care to more people in more communities.
Our urgent care centers are open every day with extra safety precautions in place to give you added confidence in your care.
We're here now if you're sick or injured.
Don't delay and risk complications. Get the safe care you need now.
Go to yoururgentcarenow.com.
The Albany Med Health System, Albany Medical Center,
Columbia Memorial Health,
and Saratoga Hospital.
If you're in debt to the IRS, there's good news. Optima Tax Relief can help you resolve your tax debt right from the safety of your own home. Optima's award-winning team works with you online and over the phone, so you don't have to leave the comfort of your home to put your tax problems to rest. Optima's A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and standing by, ready to help you today. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-960-1575. 800-960-1575. Optima Tax Relief. For details, visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This hour brought to you by Quick Response Restoration. It's Doug and Kelly. Tomorrow morning, the report card is in on distance learning. Have we done right by our kids? That's at 7:15.
810 and 103.1 WTY.
And looking for some more open space. They're even bypassing Westchester. A lot of them are bypassing Westchester and going into Orange and Putnam counties.
In New Rochelle, Sean Adams, WCBS News Radio 880. It's 407 at WCBS.
Spectrum Mobile is now the fastest growing mobile provider in the nation, growing faster than Verizon and AT&T, and even growing faster than T-Mobile. It's easy to see why. Spectrum delivers the fastest overall speeds and is the most reliable mobile service coast to coast. There are no contracts, added taxes, or fees. Switch, and you could save up to 40% and see why Spectrum Mobile is the fastest growing mobile provider. Learn more at spectrummobile.com. Based on Q1 2020 subscriber data.
Hey, New York, let's protect our children. Look for signs of multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children. This is a new health condition associated with COVID-19. Seek care if your child has a persistent fever and any of these symptoms: irritability, sluggishness, abdominal pain, diarrhea, vomiting, lack of appetite, red or pink eyes, red cracked lips, red tongue, swollen hands or feet, or a rash. If your child is severely ill, go to an emergency room or call 911 immediately.
408 at WCBS. Traffic and weather together. Jim Feldman checking a crash on the Garden State Parkway. In Homedale on the southbound side, Michael, in the local lane south of exit 116, one lane blocked with that crash. The accident investigation on 287 on the northbound side by exit 33 that started at 7 o'clock this morning is still there. You still have the right lane blocked with that. Westchester County, watch out for a crash on 684 on the southbound side by exit 5. Also southbound on Taconic by exit 11, you've got a disabled vehicle there. And the Saginaw Coast, you've got a crash there too. It is southbound by Pioneer Drive, the left lane is blocked. Next traffic update, less than 10 minutes away on WCBS. To the Weather Center, our chief meteorologist Craig Allen with another great day today, Craig.
Oh, it is very warm. It's a great day, no doubt, but it's very warm. And this is why it's still great, despite the fact that it's in the mid and upper 80s, and even a handful of 90s out there. I see Newark and Caldwell at 90 degrees, and but it's 86 in the city. The humidity is still low. The dew points are in the 50s. The humidity is 37%. We could deal with that. Tomorrow, though, the humidity is going to go up. In fact, it starts increasing tonight, lows near 70 in town and 60s in the suburbs. Tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy, warm, humid, highs up around 85, but feeling like it's close to 90 with that humidity. Then there's a chance of a shower or storm Wednesday night. And Thursday, mostly cloudy and humid with showers and thunderstorms likely. Some could be heavy into the afternoon on Thursday before they start tapering down. And the high on Thursday will be held to 80 because of that. Once again in the city, though, it's 86, humidity 37%, and a westerly wind.
Thanks, Craig. 410 at WCBS. New Jersey State Police have released the dash cam footage of the fatal shooting of an unarmed black man on the Garden State Parkway. It shows Trooper Randall Wetzel struggling with 28-year-old Maurice Gordon 3 times.
before shooting Gordon 6 times. Wetzel says Gordon tried to steal his cruiser and grab his gun. Gordon's family claims Gordon did nothing wrong. We posted the video at WCBS880.com. Another NYPD officer has been disciplined for actions taken during protests in Brooklyn. The officer was the passenger in an unmarked police car. He swung his door open and hit a demonstrator as the car passed by. The officer has been placed on modified duty. The case has been referred to the Department Advocate for further action. Commissioner Dermot Shea called it a troubling incident. The surviving passengers and the families of those who died when a B-17 bomber crashed at Bradley International Airport back in October are suing the owner and operator of the plane, the Collins Foundation. 7 people were killed and 6 injured when the plane crashed shortly after takeoff. The suit says the Collins Foundation violated federal and state laws by making passengers sit on the floor without safety belts and never giving the passengers instructions about how to get out during an emergency. The suit also claims the plane was carrying illegal cargo, which became deadly projectiles during the crash. WCBS News Time 4:11. Fans returning to one sport. We'll check sports next.
The motto for world-class competition has always been faster, higher, stronger. It's the same for Navient, makers of condensing tankless water heaters. Faster to install and set up. Higher performance and efficiency to provide endless hot water. Stronger with the industry's strongest warranty. All because of the copper-free stainless steel heat exchanger built in every unit. Learn about Navient's condensing tankless water heaters and find a Navient contractor at tanklessmadesimple.com. That's tanklessmadesimple.com.
For the ones we trust to always be there. For the ones caring for others. For the ones who keep things going, no matter where they are. In extraordinary times, extraordinary people step up, like the ones standing guard and standing on the front lines. And the ones who are staying apart while still working together. With your efforts, we will get through this. We're grateful for all you do. Visit Grainger.com for resources that can help as you create your recovery plan. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
WCBS News Time 4:12. Time for sports. NASCAR is going to allow a limited number of fans at the Dixie Vodka 440 race this Sunday in South Florida and the Geico 500 June 21st in Alabama. Racegoers will be screened before entering. They'll have to wear face coverings and they'll have to sit at least 6 feet apart. Knicks owner James Dolan originally sent a memo explaining why the company would not publicly comment in the aftermath of George Floyd's death. Today, on the day of Floyd's funeral, the Knicks released a statement via Twitter. It says, quote, "Everyone has a role to play in creating a more just and equal society where there is no racism, bigotry, violence, or hate. We stand with all who act for positive change," end quote. The tweet from the Knicks this afternoon. The NBA season is more than a month away from restarting, and next season won't start until December.
Michael Street is around sitting at Cabin Plaza goes off, and then a second. And also watch for some protesters starting to gather at Washington Square Park. And then there'll be a march, a vigil at Charles Schurz Park, all by Gracie Mansion. Other protests throughout the city tonight at the East Elmhurst Playground in Queens at 6. And also watch for protests at River Valley Park starting at 6:30. Of course, we'll keep an eye on all of those and street closures and delays. Hudson River crossings, not so bad, maybe about 5 to 10 minutes. Less than minutes away on WCBS.
Know who you can trust. Care One has been serving the community for over 25 years and has the experience to take care of you and your loved ones during these trying times. Visit care-one.com today. Care One. Trust in our care.
Craig Allen's here with his 5-day forecast. The humidity will be back.
It will. It's going to increase tonight, and tomorrow will definitely feel a lot muggier than it is out there right now. We've got temperatures in the mid and upper 80s, which is what it feels like because there's no added humidity right now to bring the heat index any higher. And along the coast, it's actually in the 70s because of that southerly wind. But the southerly wind is also going to bring in the moisture. So tonight, increasingly humid, lows near 70 in the city, 60s in the suburbs. Tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy, and it will be more humid with highs up around 85. A chance mostly cloudy. It is muggy with showers and thunderstorms likely, and a couple could be heavy. Highs up around 80. Stay connected with the Altice 5-day forecast. Sunny clouds mixed on Friday with less humidity by Friday. Highs near 80, and it should be an okay start to the weekend. Saturday, sun, clouds mixed, and highs will be right around 80 degrees. 86 in the city now, humidity 37%, westerly winds around the city and inland areas, southerly winds along the coast.
Thanks, Greg. It's 4:20 at WCBS. Let's take you live in where the funeral service for George Floyd has just wrapped up after almost 4 hours. Let's join CBS's coverage with Nora O'Donnell and Michelle Miller.
Years of mamas across the nation for your help. An incredible sense that George Floyd's death has rallied a nation for change.
Rallied a nation and a world, and certainly it has rallied Houston behind a
Michelle Miller, thank you so much for joining us to watch this game.
Right now,
what did Ricky say Freeman to do?
right. We're talking to the great Dave Sims. Do you think, because right now you're in New York, do you think you're going to be able to fly back to Seattle and call some
yesterday, and he is very confident that it's going to happen. Supposed to go, and I know people don't want to hear this, this stuff.
Yeah.
What they're doing.
What's going on? Agreement, no matter how it plays out this year.
So, and I second and goal, so they can't screw it up, although don't tell that to the Seahawks. And it gets frustrating just talking about it,
Yeah.
I have several hours, having to do.
I want to ask you an actual baseball question. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Is Edwin Diaz this awful, Dave?
Dude, he was spectacular. He was so good in 18. I mean, fastball 98, 100, 101, 2, 3. Nasty slider, stupid curveball, command, just fabulous. And when he had to self-correct, he did. He lost it, but we were, it's like, man, we were all depressed. I said, wait a minute, Eddie blew a game, holy crap. Then he'd come back and figure it out. It is mind-blowing what happened to him. So I was somewhere, I just remember they were in L.A., and I tuned in.
Oh, yes.
Right, I tuned in. I said, oh, this is great. Eddie's on the mound after about 3-4 runs. And I got to get a call when I come back, base hit, swing and a drive, home run, that's up my line, swing and a drive, the game's over. I'm like, what the hell was that?
All you had to say, Dave, was L.A. And trust me, the memory is flashed back at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Every day. That was so. I was surprised I didn't hear you all the way in Seattle. I mean, it was just my, a good kid, great kid, and I just hope that with all this extra time, he's in great shape. And I hope he's looked at a lot of video, and I'm sure he has, because that was embarrassing. I mean, he was an all-star. I mean, he was the guy, man. He was the guy.
Yeah.
Were you stunned when you heard about that trade, Dave? That brilliant trade?
I wouldn't say stunned. I mean, I wouldn't say stunned, but I would, I was moderately surprised. I mean, Robbie was carrying a big ticket. Right. The Poto he said, listen, we won 89 games in 18 and still missed the freaking playoffs. And he said, I never forget, he was saying this to me, and he said publicly, I didn't think we could sustain it. They trade Pax, they definitely re-signed Nelly. Nelly goes on, Nelson Cruz goes on to have a spectacular year in Minnesota. Robbie got injured, and Diaz, spit the fifth. We are very excited about Judd Kelnick, who looked terrific. And again, it's all spring training. And Justin Dunn.
Take it to the bank. He's a star.
I know, Eddie. I called Eddie when we made the deal. And the deal was made. And Eddie said, he's hit everywhere. I said, that's good. The Justin Dunn kid, a wonderful young man out of Long Island, Boston College. Bulldog, man. And I think he's got a chance to be really good. But again, here we are in June, I think it's June 9th. Yeah. I thought we'd know a lot of those stories would have fleshed themselves out by now. Not the case. So, at this point, if we played like an NCAA like tournament, I'd be good for that. If we played 48, 58, 78, 82 games, I just want to go play. Go.
Yeah.
see some baseball. We've talked ourselves into how exciting a 48-game season's going to be. Every game's going to matter.
I gotta ask you this as a play-by-play guy. Yeah. Are you going to be allowed in the building to call the games?
I was, playing Mets. My director called me right as I was calling. It was the darndest thing. I said, "What do we got?" He says, "You'll be able." As far as the word is, this was about a week, 2 weeks ago, and we had talked to a whole bunch of other broadcasters, and a lot of other clubs doing the same thing. Our broadcast from T-Mobile Park, home games, be socially distanced, and probably put up a thing of plexiglass or something in there. And then for road games, we broadcast from there as well. I originally thought, and the first word I heard was that we'd be broadcasting from our studios in Bellevue, Washington, which is just east of Seattle, 10-15 minutes, and broadcast from the studio. But our director, Jimmy Armitage, great guy, he said, obviously, you guys, and for folks who haven't seen it, TV monitors in the truck once you get inside, and then the director, producer, and technical director, the guy that punches all the buttons, they're sitting right next to each other in the front row. Then you got the second row with two people, and then you go back in the audio and videotape and all that kind of stuff. What Jimmy said was that they would bring in a second trailer, so those guys would be socially distanced. So, and then for doing road games, the home team will provide their home feed and one dedicated camera for the visiting team, so we at least have control of one camera. And I'll call it off, way to give me a nice big monitor, and I'll call it off of that. I don't have to do the radio, guys. That's going to be, the TV, it's a less vocal, should be a less vocal type of presentation, but, when you're doing radio, sight, sound, smell, the whole thing, where's everybody positioned? You want to, each pitch, you want to set it up.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to be difficult to do? I mean, the home game, I guess, would feel similar, even though there's no crowd because you're in the ballpark. But being in that ballpark for a game that's in, Anaheim, California, watching off a monitor, you think that's going to be difficult to do?
You know what? Human beings are adaptable, and I'll just have to adapt. I did it once, 2012. Mariners opened in Tokyo against the A's.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't go. I went last year, did radio.
Right.
ESPN did the TV games. But back in 2012, I did the game from our Bellevue studios off of big monitors at it was 2 o'clock in the morning Seattle time. And boy, what a delay it is. I'm used to calling, boom, 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 right there, right on top. So you almost have to give yourself a beat every time you say, when the camera changes, because you got to acclimate your eye to what's going on there, as opposed to watching, with the naked eye when you're at the ballpark.
That's going to be
It's a challenge, but I should have such problems. You know what I mean? Right. Won't work out there right now.
It's a good problem to have. That's the problem.
How weird do you think it'll be with no fans in the ballpark, Dave?
It'll be. I tell you what. I was in Arizona. I was at an Arizona Fall League game about, I want to say the 15th season, and there might have been 100 people there. We're talking no people here, just guys in a dugout. You know what? Tell it that. I tell you what, if you're a good bench jockey, you're going to be all over the ballpark.
Yeah. That's one of the cool things about it. We get to hear some of the managers and players screaming at you.
Right, and it's good and bad. I mean, a lot of times our mics, we have a couple of guys, who like to express themselves after they foul off a pitch right there in the middle or swing and miss as they're walking back. And, our mics are very high. And so many times the producer says, please apologize for the bad language. I said, hey, come on, these are hyper individuals, high-strung, type A personalities who want to win. These kinds of things you got to hear. It's not we to turn the mic down.
Yeah, part of the game. Dave, we really appreciate you coming on. Hopefully you'll be calling games real soon. Great article, and thank you very much, man.
Right. The real midday show, guys.
Appreciate it, guys. Good to say. Continued success. Be well.
Be well, man.
Take care.
Dave Sims, now the broadcaster for the Seattle Mariners, midday host here at WFAN, and wrote a great op-ed in the Seattle Times. We'll come back. We'll get back to your calls at 877-337-6666. And while you were gone last week, we kind of debated and figured out the best and worst Met and Yankee wins and losses over the last 25 years. So I'm very curious on your take on that. So we'll get to that coming up, plus your calls to Sterling 5 coming up in the 5 o'clock hour as well. Domingo and Roberts here in the afternoon until Mike at 6.
With an update from the 1010 Wins newsroom, I'm Lori Madden. Funeral services for George Floyd are being held in Houston today. Governor Phil Murphy lifts the stay-at-home order in New Jersey. Mayor de Blasio says New York City is on track for Phase 2 reopening. No dates announced yet. For 24-hour coverage, go to 1010 Wins or tell your smart device to play 1010 Wins.
There's a new wave coming to supply energy to your home or business. Sunwave Gas and Power, the Tri-State's energy supplier reliably powering your homes and businesses. Sunwave is energy simplified. Visit GoSunwave.com. Traditional or green energy options. All you have to do is find the plan that works for you. Ride the wave to amazing gas and power service. Visit GoSunwave.com. That's GoSunwave.com. Sunwave Gas and Power. Power your universe.
Just hitting, defense, and base running made Willie Mays one of the greatest all-around players in baseball history. His grace and wisdom made him an American hero. Now in his best-selling new book, Willie Mays shares a lifetime of inspiration. Read 24, life stories and lessons from the Say Hey Kid. The New York Times fears that Willie Mays' new memoir will remind fans of why we love baseball so much. This Father's Day, treat your dad to a legendary life. Give him 24, the New York Times bestseller by Willie Mays with John Shea. Available wherever books are sold from St. Martin's Press.
Spectrum Mobile is now the fastest growing mobile provider in the nation, growing faster than Verizon and AT&T.
3 way out across Bronx Doors, Lincoln 10 in 15 out Holland 10, 25 with the local bridge out of downtown Brooklyn. Getting on to the city bound Brooklyn Bridge shut down with some demonstrators in the area. Traffic sponsored by 1-877-8 the News. I'm Greg Rice with the SupplyHouse.com fan highway patrol.
Greg, Robert turned the afternoon. The caller referred to this yesterday, Joe, but while you were gone, I had John Yastrzemski with the Yankees, Sal Licata with the Mets, even Mike Francesa called in to give his opinion. We went through the worst Met losses, best Met wins, so positive 2. Worst Yankee losses, best Yankee wins of the last 25 years. The cutoff is 95. Now, I'll tell you what we ended up picking, but I'm curious, what jumps out at you as the best, or positively, the best Met win of the last 25 years?
The best Met win of the last 25 years.
Yes.
That's difficult.
No, well, it is. Because there are, overwhelming options like winning the World Series, you mean?
Right. There, not winning the World Series in there.
No, I think there's,
I think there's 2 games that kind of jump out at me.
let me see where they go.
Probably 2 games.
Go ahead.
They jump out at me. One is the clincher against the Dodgers in the division series in 15.
Okay.
And the other one is the Todd Pratt game.
Interesting.
In 1999. Because that kind of like, that got them, that was kind of a playoff win in 13 years. They don't win any playoff games in 1988. So series, yeah. Playoff series, right?
So number one,
Those 2 kind of jump out at me. Those 2.
Well, the 2015 Game 5 won the whole thing. So you are right. And I agree with that result because heart-stomping game.
Yes.
3+ hours.
Yeah.
The brilliance of Jake. Yeah. The brilliance of Daniel Murphy.
Right. And beating the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Which I always love sticking it to them. I mean, you know how I feel about that.
Yeah. It's just how I feel. Winner take all game.
In LA, no.
In LA, just, so that was the winner. What actually caused, probably the biggest debate Sal and I had when he was on with me was the Pratt home run game against the Grand Slam single. And the reason why I'm more kind of with the Grand Slam single is even though the Mets ended up losing that series, which I admit, I know that, in the moment, avoiding the Braves celebrating at Shea Stadium was a big deal. To me, that was my bias.
Yeah, no, I understand.
So, even though they lost that series, the Grand Slam single was a moment that actually kind of got past the Todd Pratt home run game against the Diamondbacks, which was also a great game,
Yeah, I was at the Pratt game. So maybe that's why more jumps out at me. But also, where I was sitting, it's very strange that it gets up, is where I was sitting, I had a real good look at Steve Philly in center field. And Philly goes, I got to tell you, and the first moment for me is Philly broke him. I mean, if you remember how he reacted after he jumped up, and I had an angle on it, but I couldn't really see. It just looked to me like he had the ball. So there was a moment of, a couple seconds of, uncertainty, I guess is the right word. And before we realized it's gone and they won the series, And Todd had, that's why he jumps out at me.
Todd Pratt had the same thing, because remember, he stopped between, I think it was Yost and second, because he thought Steve Finley caught the ball too. It was a very weird jump by Steve Finley. He timed it really wrong and didn't get off the ground.
He was a very good defensive center fielder too, so that's another reason why I thought maybe he caught this ball.
Yeah, no, that was a hell of a moment. And then Sean Franco, getting out of the dugout, jumping up and down. That image is certainly there. Now, the worst loss may surprise you. Does Game 7 of 06 jump out at you as the winner?
They lost the 2 World Series, but I probably would say that. And I say that because that team in 06, was a team that should have won the World. I mean, they were the best team, and clearly the best team in the National League. The World Series, so even though they lose World Series in 2000 and obviously in 15, that
game 7.
Our winner was actually Game 1, 2007 World Series against the The one that won the greatest Yankee win definitely qualifies as drama. There's no debate. And from an importance standpoint, same thing. They hit both.
I'm going to say, well, here's what I'm going to say, and I'll throw the other game out too. But so I'm going to say it was the Lakers game, the 96 World Series. So all
the 1-0 game, which occurred right after later its game, which was to me one of the just one of the great games to watch. I'm a sucker for a 1-0 game, but in this game, down 6-0, later hits the home run to tie it, and that just tied the game. And they had to go out and win it, and Wade Boggs draws a walk with the bases loaded, and that's how they win the game. But you nailed it. That's the game, and I think it certainly fits the criteria as important. It's certainly drama film when you're losing 6-0 to the Braves.
And I think the other game that jumps out at me, there's two other games actually jump out at me.
All right.
And I think the El Duque win in Game 4 against Cleveland in 1998 in the ALCS, it was a huge win for that team. I mean, because they're down 2-1 in that series. This is the year they won 114 games. To me, that's a very, very big win for the Yankees in that run.
Yeah, it could have changed everything about that 98 team, and that was the only time that 98 team faced any kind of adversity.
Was in any kind of adversity.
Right. I mean, you want to tell me they're trailing in Game 1, and Knobloch hits the game-tying home run, and then obviously Tito hits his grand slam. Sure, they were trailing in Game 1. If you will. And then losing the following game. I mean, yeah, that was the biggest kind of adversity they faced.
And they had lost to Cleveland the year before in the playoffs. I think there was doubt for the Yankees.
Yeah. What was the other one then?
Well, it has to be the Aaron Boone game.
Oh, the Boone. Yeah, that was.
I mean, to me, the Aaron Boone game is one of the great games of all time.
The problem is losing the World Series.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but just and the fact that it was like the final
singular loss in 04 and obviously Game 7 of 01. I mean, that's really what it came down to. And Game 7 of 2001 won. I mean,
yeah, I can see that.
And look, I guess from afar when you don't win, you say, yeah, but you won 3 straight championships. But I don't think it makes it any easier when you have a lead in the bottom of the 9th inning, the greatest closer in the history of baseball on the mound.
Mariano, I was thinking about this the other day, and we all know the greatness of Mariano. I'm not trying to knock him here. Mariano had some big long games in the playoffs. As great as he was, he did have some bad 7, whether it's 0-1 against the Diamondbacks, whether it's 0-4 against the Red Sox. You know why? Big moments. These guys are all good. Anyway, all of his blown saves, they basically got eliminated.
But Mariano Rivera appeared in 96 playoff games. How could he blow a game and it not be big?
I'm not saying that, but all I'm saying is that, you know, that is kind of overlooked a little bit.
And Bianca and Kim blew too, and they still in the World Series. I mean, you can blow a save. You're being fair, Joe. I mean, the 3 that he had are basically led them to elimination.
Yeah, but the problem, you're obviously being fair. I'm not denying that you're not being fair.
Right.
I guess what I just can't get past, and maybe this is my own problem, is that when you appear,
and I saw all the guys who
midges think about losing and win the World Series, the odds are every would have that loss. Now, I think what Ernie says, which is actually interesting, I got to think about this. Is it true that in any blown save Mariano's had in the playoffs, they've lost every single series?
I believe those are the
That sounds right.
Yeah, it's true.
97, 01,
01, and 04.
I believe those are the only 3 he had.
Those are the only 3.
Those are the only 3.
There was no blown save where they came back and won later.
Right.
Anyway.
I got you. That is interesting when you think about it.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's not to kill Mariano. It's
No,
just to
I'm
say
not killing him at all.
Right.
I mean, he's the best that ever did it.
It's a fair point that the way
He's were huge as well, man.
Yeah. It's just incredible. I mean, his ERA and his numbers in the playoffs are one thing, but 141 playoff innings. That's insane. That's more than a full 2 years, basically, as a raw.
There's no question. No, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not questioning that, but you know, I just think it's something that needs to be said.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, 04 features. Yeah. It is kind of remarkable, though, that 97. It's crazy at the end, like the last 6 years of his career, you know, 06, 07. It tend to be kind of forgettable years because they didn't win.
Right.
He was still there. He never gave up anything. You know, so he was as good all the way until the end, until he was in his 40s.
The best that ever did it. Should have won the Cy Young in 1996. I thought, as a sound man, I thought he was the MVP. Yeah, 96, the MVP that year. Right. Not the Cy Young. I mean, he won the MVP. There's no disputing the greatness of Mariano. But, look, I mean, you know, sometimes you get beat, you know?
Yeah, well, when we went through every Yankee, the worst Yankee, because he's all over it, to your point. Game 1 of 07, Game 4 of 2004. It really became 04 versus 01. I think ultimately the game and the moment of 01 is the worst. The collective of 04 is worse.
And the Alamo game is not looked at, I don't think, as bad, because we didn't really, even though the Yankees had won the World Series the year before, I don't think we were realizing that we were on the verge of this dynasty at that point.
Yeah, and also,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think the other thing was he gave up a home run to Sandy Alomar with 2 outs in the 8th inning. He didn't give up. I think Ramiro Mendoza gave up the winning run in the bottom of the 9th inning, if memory serves correct. So it wasn't like an implosion. It was, hey, blew a lead. This was talent.
Right.
But it was the 8th inning, and yeah. But you're right. We didn't know at the time. No. In 1997, we still had no idea how good Mariano would be.
We didn't know that. But I mean, the Yankees are going to turn out to be this team that's going to now go on to win 3 straight championships.
Right. That was like my 3rd worst loss. That game, didn't you? Talking about Joe? Well, I underestimate that loss. That was a painful blow.
No, I understand it. Yeah. Also, a lot of this is in the moment how you feel. Now, when we did the Domingo bracket of pain, you look at a lot of it as, let's see what happens next. If you do it that way, then yeah, you can look at Game 595 and say, not a big deal, look at what happened. But in the moment, that's not it. JJ, it made me cry. Not even for a while. It's brutal.
Yeah. Well, the Yankees hadn't won a long time either at that point.
Of course. Little do we know that.
Or even into the playoffs. It was 14 years between playoffs at that point.
Yeah, that was their first foray back in that. They would have made it 94, but, well, we all know the deal. But little did we know that they would go from Buck to Torrey, they'd make the Tito trade, and, you know, off they go. Like, you know,
right.
You know, but as it happened, it was bad. No question. We'll come back. We'll get to your calls, 877-337-6666. We'll do the Sterling 5 and the 5 o'clock hour as well, as we're here till 6. I'm Jim Rome with a Radio.com Sports Minute sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. With quality parts and know-how, Napa Auto Parts can help you keep your car on the road. In the wake of the joy
George Floyd killing, there's been new attention paid to police brutality as well as institutional and systemic racism. And that scrutiny is now being applied to a number of college football programs, big-time programs around the country have had to address comments made by coaches over there, and no program is receiving more scrutiny than Iowa. The school's placed strength coach Chris Doyle on administrative leave after numerous players have come forward and described negative experiences in the program. Despite that fact, it's all news to head coach Kirk Ferentz. You're the head coach. The buck stops with you. We're still in the early days of this investigation, but it sounds like a classic case of either you didn't know or you didn't want to know. How could you not know? And if you didn't know, it was your job to know. I'm Jim Lynn.
When you need
.com. That's PGIN.com.
At CDW, we get putting productivity within reach of remote employees.
That's why I'm WFC, working front couch and moving everything within arm's length, like the microwave. Lunchtime,
you should talk to the experts at CDW. They can orchestrate a more efficient workspace solution using light, powerful devices from Lenovo to keep your team anywhere, couch included.
Yeah, but do they have driver's license?
IT orchestration by CDW. Learn more at cdw.com/Lenovo Client.
WCBS News Talk 255. News was
Time today with how about 300 points? The S&P was down 25. With money news at 25 and 55 on WCBS. I'm Bloomberg's Tracy Johnke.
Perlmutter Cancer Center at NYU Langone Health is aware that many anxious cancer patients have been postponing appointments and procedures due to fear of going to the doctor's office. Your cancer testing, screening, and treatment should not be put on hold. At Perlmutter Cancer Center, all of our facilities have instituted strict guidelines to keep you safe, including personal protective equipment for anyone on site, temperature screening, frequent cleanings, less crowded spaces, and testing of all our staff. Patients can also access their Perlmutter Cancer Center physicians through video visits, and anyone with concerning symptoms can speak by phone or video with a member of our Suspicion of Cancer virtual clinic. Cancer hasn't stopped during this pandemic, and at Perlmutter Cancer Center, neither will we. To schedule an appointment, visit nyulangone.org/cancer. This Ion Veterans Moment is presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Wounded Warrior Project CEO Mike Lennington recently announced a new initiative specifically designed to help vets in need.
With the support of our board, Wounded Warrior Project is committing $10 million to help meet the immediate financial needs of our registered alumni who are in financial crisis.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
For the ones we trust to always be there. For the ones caring for others. For the ones who keep things going, no matter where they are. In extraordinary times, extraordinary people step up, like the ones standing guard and standing on the front lines. And the ones who are staying apart while still working together. With your efforts, we will get through this. We're grateful for all you do. Visit Grainger.com for resources that can help as you create your recovery plan. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Fed up with companies selling your data? DuckDuckGo is on it. They help millions of people like you take back their privacy online. With one download, you can search and browse privately, avoiding trackers, all for free. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified. 4:58 at WCBS. Traffic and weather together, sponsored by DuckDuckGo Privacy. Here's Tom Kavitsky and Chopper 880.
And Michael, let's start first off on the Cross Bronx, eastbound, getting toward the Bronx. On the Grand Central, on the eastbound side, as you get in through that area of Gardens Interchange. First off, heavy in towards Kew Gardens, then again, 68th and 188th Street. Those collisions are now cleared. Here comes Craig with the forecast.
And it's a warm evening around the city and all the boroughs, and as long as you're away from the coastline, right by the water, it is in the 80s, and LaGuardia just hit 91. That's what I was looking for, to see if there were any 90s that were still out there. 91 LaGuardia, 90 at Newark. Otherwise, 80s across the area, 70s at the shore. Tonight, tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy. High near 85 degrees. Right now, again, 86.
This is WCBS and WCBS-FM HD2 New York.
George Floyd is
is now being laid to rest after a 4-hour funeral that included a eulogy from Al Sharpton. Public advocate Jamani Williams leads a silent march for police reform, with hundreds now headed across the Brooklyn Bridge. A police officer who shoved a female protester in Brooklyn is now charged with assault. Mayor de Blasio announces the words "Black Lives Matter" will be painted on prominent streets around the city. And Governor Murphy unexpectedly ends the stay-at-home order for New Jerseyans. 86 degrees, sunny in Manhattan. I'm Linda Lopez. More than just the headlines. This is WCBS News Radio 880. It's 5 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour. Your home for original reporting.
I'm Matt Piper in New York. He's being remembered as a gentle giant and now as a symbol of the oppressed struggle for justice. At the funeral for George Floyd, tears were shed, but they called it a celebration of his life. CBS's Donnie Backus from the church in Houston, where the family has just left for the gravesite.
Police officers saluted as George Floyd's casket was carried into the Fountain of Praise Church in Houston. Family members arrived wearing white for a private service in the city where Floyd grew up.
I just want to say that I'm going to miss my brother a whole lot. And I love you. I also want to say I love you.
The Reverend Al Sharpton delivered the eulogy.
This was not just a tragedy. It was a crime.
One of the protests that sparked up following Floyd's death at the hands of police was one in Buffalo involving a 75-year-old who fell to the ground last week. President Trump today tweets that he believes the elderly man was a member of Antifa and that the whole thing was a setup. This even though the man falls after being pushed by police and bleeds from his head. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo.
You saw his head hit the pavement. You see blood on the pavement. Maybe he fell harder than he was pushed. How reckless, how irresponsible, how mean, how cruel.
Discharged from the ICU today, but does remain in the hospital. The disappearance of his wife, Lori Vallow's children. Assistant Rexburg police.
This time,
Daybell is now in custody. The two kids have not been seen since September. Reasons why.
New voting machines combined with a pandemic resulting in extremely long wait times. In some cases, people waiting for hours to vote. Ahead to wrong precincts to lack of poll workers. Brad Raffensperger has already opened an investigation.
This is CBS News.
Radio.com app. Download it today.
The sun is beaming down on the city right now. Most of the others we've seen in recent days. Demonstrators remaining silent. Let's go back live now to WCBS's Kevin Rincon for an update. He's crossing the Brooklyn Bridge with protesters.
Linda, we're at the base of the Brooklyn Bridge. This group that about what kind of reform here in the city has now gotten off the bridge. There are hundreds of others waiting for this group to push that.
A protester to the
start for the judge released him without bail pending his next court date in October, and he's been ordered to stay away from the woman he allegedly shoved to the ground during protests a week and a half ago around the Barclays Center. The woman was seen on cell phone video hitting the ground and rolling several feet into the curb. She says she had a seizure and was hospitalized. DeAndre is charged with misdemeanor assault, harassment, menacing, and criminal mischief. He's been suspended from the force without pay. Authorities say investigations are underway into several other videos showing officers using violence against protesters. Outside Brooklyn Criminal Court, Steve Burns, WCBS News Radio 880.
Mayor de Blasio has announced that the words "Black Lives Matter" will be painted on certain prominent streets in all 5 boroughs. WCBS's Rich Lamb has more.
The mayor said the BLM message will be first inscribed near City Hall, then significant locations will be selected in the other 4 boroughs. In de Blasio's words, it's time to do something officially representing this city to recognize the fundamental idea that Black Lives Matter. In the news conference, I asked, Mr. Mayor, do you think that all of this talk about defunding the police is undermining the average cop's outlook on his job? The mayor said he did not view the defunding as an affront to the police, but as an affirmation of the needs of youth and community.
Rich, I don't think it has to be
something that people would feel upset about or worried about. I think it could be something affirmational about the way we're going to move forward.
De Blasio did say he is very concerned about a recent spike in crime, especially in those neighborhoods hardest hit by the coronavirus. Rich Lamb, WCBS News Radio 880.
The man who recorded Eric Garner's death on Staten Island has been released from prison. Ramsey Orta was behind bars for weapons and drug charges. He was sentenced to 4 years but got out a month early because of the coronavirus. Orta filed a lawsuit claiming he was arrested as payback for the Garner video. Police records show he had dozens of arrests prior to Garner's death. WCBS News Time is 5:07.
Rest assured, when RTK Environmental Group performs an inspection at your home or workplace, we are wearing PPE to keep you safe. Visit rtkenvironmental.com.
When someone you love is recovering from an illness or surgery, managing health challenges, or needing care at the end of life, VNSNY, the Visiting Nurse Service of New York, is here to help. We provide nurses, therapists, and home health aides whose skill and compassion are second to none. New Yorkers choose VNSNY to help their loved ones stay out of the hospital and get the care they need at home. Learn more at vnsny.org.
If you're in the market for a new car, truck, or SUV, visit NorthBayCadillac.com and NorthBayBuickGMC.com for incredible pricing, selection, and 0% financing on select models. North Bay, Long Island's premier Cadillac Buick GMC dealership, is safely and conveniently serving customers online and in person by appointment. Located on Northern Boulevard in Great Neck, they're a short drive from Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Suffolk. Get out of the old and into your new at NorthBayCadillac.com and NorthBayBuickGMC.com. At North Bay, they take your health and safety as seriously as you do.
WCBS News Time is 5:08. It's time for traffic and weather. Together on the 8th, thousands of protesters have been marching from Borough Hall in Brooklyn over the Brooklyn Bridge. Let's go up to Chopper 880 and Tom Kaminsky.
Linda, a very large crowd there, which is now, for the most part, right over, just leaving the span of the Brooklyn Bridge, going towards Center Street, ultimately going towards City Hall. So the Brooklyn Bridge, at this point, even though there are vehicles on it, but it is not really officially open, because you still have some demonstrators that are just leaving that inbound roadway of the Brooklyn Bridge. So it isn't technically open yet. It is very heavy on the inbound Gowanus and northbound BQ, at least from the area of Fort Hamilton Parkway up to the Brooklyn Bridge, and southbound over my left shoulder all the way back beyond Queens Boulevard. So very heavy here. Belt Parkway, westbound side, at Ocean Parkway we had a crash. Eastbound Belted Crossway Boulevard, a collision there. All day long we've had this problem on the northbound side of Route 287 at exit 33. And ongoing repair work there. Right down Quincy and Shopper 880.